Good morning and welcome to the Tourism Nova Scotia webinar series. Today's webinar is how to use marketing technologies to create a sustainable tourism business. So really excited for you to join us. For those of you joining us for the first time, my name is Nick Fry. I'm the manager of business development for Tourism Nova Scotia. I was looking at the word marketing. Anyways, so Tourism Nova Scotia, we are a division of communities, culture, tourism, and heritage. And we work with communities and industry to attract visitors to the province to increase tourism revenues through experience and sector development, business coaching, marketing, and visitor servicing. So really excited for you to join us today. Now, any good webinar, of course, is built on great questions. So if you have any questions, please pop them in the Q&A at the bottom. And if you have anything to add in the discussion, please add it in the chat. Anything we share throughout the presentation, whether it be a link or anything like that, we'll share it out after the fact by email, so you don't have to write it down or go down the rabbit hole of checking out the link. So try to stay focused, ask any questions, and again, if you find this valuable, you think that you may want to share the information that you see today with any industry colleagues, please do so. They're also all available. Any previous ones, future ones will be all available on the website on the link on the screen. Now this is offered today through Digiport, and that is a collaboration between Digital Nova Scotia and Tourism Nova Scotia. And Digiport, if you're not signed up and you're on the webinar, I really encourage you to do so. Digiport's a one-stop shop where we have all of our interactive and educational opportunities around bridging the digital gap for tourism businesses. There is past presentations, all of our programming, there's tip sheets on all sorts of different topics. So really encourage you to sign up. If you haven't done so, please share it with any industry colleagues. And I think it's a valuable resource. It's the only one offered of its kind in Canada for any tourism businesses. I really think it's a wonderful opportunity. So I'm happy today to have Shelley Bellefontaine, the CEO of Atlantic Online. And AtlanticOnline.ca is a full-service digital marketing company. It's headquartered in Clare, Nova Scotia, on the Nova Scotia southwest coast. And Atlantic Online specializes in website design, e-commerce, storefront development, organic social media strategy. They offer paid ad management services. They do that with the global fisheries, industrial manufacturing, solar energy, tourism, and also small business sectors. So they have a lot of experience with different types of businesses all across the industry. So really excited to have Shelley here today. Shelley's been a web designer long before it was cool to be a web designer, and they're actively engaged and entangled in all things webbed, but they tend to focus exclusively on developing digital marketing growth strategies using social media and other marketing technologies. And I think that the thing that sets Atlantic Online apart is that they are an all-encompassing strategy. So from start to finish, they are able to help you and your company with what they need. Shelley's also registered with Digiport as a one-on-one. So if you are here today and you think, oh, this is so great, I'd love some time with Shelley, well, you can book that through Digiport after the fact. So one-on-one is an opportunity for you to book with the presenter, and it's no cost to you, but of course they are paid, so don't worry, everyone benefits. So really encourage you to check out a one-on-one with Shelley after the fact, see what Digiport has to offer. I would like to welcome Shelley to the screen, and so excited for you to share your knowledge with us today. And here we are, ready for you, Shelley.
Well, good morning, Nick. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to so many people today about something that I'm extremely passionate about, which is digital marketing.
Shelley,
yes.
If I could just get you to start your video.
We'll start this again.
There we go. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you. So yeah, hey, good morning, everybody. Shelley here from Atlantic Online, coming to you from Southwest Nova Scotia. So happy to be here to be able to chat about something that I'm extremely passionate about. It's what I built my business on, that is known as digital marketing. So let's get right into the presentation, and I'm going to work through this to share my screen from one of my dual screens. So bear with me for a moment. Just a sec there. I'm going to pop this over to screen one. Now, nope, that's not it. Excuse me for a moment. I know that we, I'm going to share this one. I know we went through this morning. Okay, can you see my screen? Can you see the presentation, how to build a sustainable business?
Looks great, Shelley.
Okay, fantastic. When you have dual screens, such as that I do, then I have, it's a bit of a configuration effort to bring everything together. But nonetheless, we are on point. And welcome to this webinar. I'm really excited to be able to share this knowledge with you today on how to build a sustainable tourism business using digital marketing practices. I am Shelley, and this is a little picture from my corner of the world. And I know that digital marketing, tourism marketing in particular, is a very, very competitive industry. You also have a very, very short window of time in which to engage your audience. And it's a very, very competitive industry. And I have a great deal of appreciation for that, having worked with numerous tourism operators within the province and external to Nova Scotia as well. And I can tell you that they all face the same challenges, especially, as a result of COVID, but then there was also a challenge after COVID when the influx of visitors was almost too much for some at some point. So I can appreciate the competitive nature of this business for sure. So today's webinar is with that in mind. It's going to focus on some brand outreach strategies that you as a tourism operator can use to help promote your business and to help you connect with your visitors or your potential visitors in a very meaningful way, and a very meaningful way for them as the prospective visitor to your establishment. We'll talk about ways in which you can convey the uniqueness of what you provide and how to stay top of mind with your visitors as well, so that they keep you as a go-to reference for their next vacation after having such a wonderful experience. So we'll talk about ways that we can put you front and center for new visitors and for returning visitors as well. So my name, as Nick mentioned, is Shelley Bellefontaine. I own Atlantic Online, and I've built this business over the last 20 plus years to be a full service digital marketing agency. And I have a small but mighty team. We are all professional marketers and extremely skilled digital navigation. We worked with industries or with businesses rather within industry, within the global fishery, the tourism sector, and the small business sector as well. And we find that there's a very common theme amongst all of the industries when it comes to responding to or building digital marketing outreach. And we'll be sharing some of those with you today. Okay. So today, the spin that I'd like to take is that given the experience that I've had working with amazing tourism operators in this province and abroad, I've noticed that there's a very, very common theme when it comes to doing outreach and when it comes to engaging potential prospects to become your visitor. So I've positioned this webinar today to be from my viewpoint and what a year in the life of a tourism marketer actually looks like. So by doing that, I'm able to share with you a broad overview of what the marketing activities are recommended for your business so that you can build like an annual marketing outreach so that you can help to engage those visitors and again, stay top of mind. That's always the goal. So we'll review what an annual digital marketing calendar can look like for a tourism business specifically. I'll also look at an overview of the technology and the tools that you can use to help you stay front and center as you engage and delight your audience. Okay, so let's go. It's been my experience that every organization and every service or every product, everything we deliver to a customer is based on a life cycle. And during that life cycle, there are certain activities and events and perceptions that occur during a life cycle of anything. think of a life cycle as the beginning of something and the end, like the alpha, the omega, if you will. What we're going to concentrate on today is looking at holistically the life cycle of a tourism marketing operation. But also we're going to look at the in-between, and we're going to look at all of the opportunities that exist within that holistic view where you can position yourself front and center. Okay. So with every life cycle, be it a business life cycle, any sort of outreach, marketing outreach life cycle, the customer journey map comes to mind. And when we think about the steps that a prospect has to take in order to become aware of us, to engage with us, to love our product, and then to become a faithful purchaser, a repeating purchaser, we realize that they walk along a certain path known as that life cycle. I mentioned that we're going to focus on the in-between of those events that occur on the life cycle, and they seem to follow certain themes. And I've noticed this with every digital marketing project I've done for a tourism business. They seem to focus on these 4 areas of interest. And as a result, we can see that there are 4 marketing themes that we can concentrate on. How we behave from a marketing perspective when we do outreach for awareness is very, very different when from the gratitude stage that we'll be, doing a deep dive on as well. Each phase, each marketing theme represents different opportunities for us to create different types of outreach and content to appeal to that prospect. So we start with awareness. We always want to, position our product front and center, but how we do that with a brand new audience can sometimes be a challenge. So there's always effort on the very front end of any life cycle to focus on the awareness piece, to raise awareness with your audience, whether it's your last year's audience that we'll talk about repurposing to, or if it's a brand new audience that you want to do outreach to. Once we ensure that our brand is known and that, or your brand is known and that we've raised the level of awareness, then the next phase is that we have to build desire. Once people are aware of us, we don't have to keep telling them who we are. We don't have to keep digitally handshaking them. If we've gotten their interest in the beginning, then what we can do is move over to the desire stage to make them really want and covet our service or our offer. So how we speak to somebody during the desire stage along the marketing calendar is going to be very, very different. I noticed too that the next phase, the truth, this is where we showcase our authenticity, but we don't do it alone. This is an opportunity at this stage where we can engage our audience to speak our truth with us. So I'm just going to leave that alone for now, but it's a very powerful part of the marketing calendar, and you'll see the impact that it can have on your business as we move forward. The last theme is known as gratitude. And I find that this theme is extremely powerful. When you can express gratitude to your audience, an audience that shares your values, shares an appreciation for what you do, when you can express gratitude, that is extremely heartfelt. And that's a very, very powerful marketing strategy. So let's move forward and see how we can apply these marketing themes in the overall strategy. Okay. So what we're looking at here is the annual digital marketing calendar, a timeline, if you will. We spoke about awareness, desire, truth, and gratitude. They all have their place in the marketing calendar with respect to the type of engagement effort that we produce. Awareness typically will happen during the winter months. And I just want to take a moment to say this marketing calendar is reflective of a tourism business that operates from May to September, May to August, or October rather. I'm fully aware that we have operations all year in this province. And in fact, I'm a huge winter fan. So I know that we have a rich array of tourism opportunities during the winter as well. That being said, this approach can be tweaked along the timeline. I think you'll see that. But for the purpose of this demonstration, to help reinforce these concepts and this strategy, we're going to stick with the May to October kind of timeline. So given that, in the winter is our opportunity to build awareness. At this point, in January, just after we've come off the holidays and we're enthusiastic about starting the year, we know that there are great things to come. Our audience, however, doesn't know that. So this is your opportunity to start building some very simple digital marketing tools and assets that will help carry you through the remainder of the year. That would allow us to move into the spring area. And during the spring is when I recommend, after you've spent, a couple of months building awareness of your product, I think between the months April, May, and June are the opportune times to build some desire for your products. And this is going to involve a little bit more outreach than what activities were in the winter, but it's going to be well worth it for sure, because it's going to continue to keep your brand top and center with your audience. Then as we move into the summer months, this is when we can use more strategic engagement efforts to draw some truth and authenticity out of the experiences out of the visitors who've had awesome experiences with us. So when we can use that theme, then it makes sense for us to move forward into the gratitude. And you'll see how that sticks into, it comes into play as we, do deep dives into each of these pillars. But for now, just know that these marketing themes, when executed during this particular timeline, using these types of efforts, will ensure that your brand is well seen and well received. So we have, I can't see part of my back screen there. So this is the actual detailed approach that we take to achieve each of these marketing objectives. So when we're in the awareness stage during the winter season, January, February, and March, there are some very important tactical items that you should be working on. And then you'll see that this is structured in such a way that every part of the timeline has certain activities that you can be doing. I've based this on the minimal effort required to raise your profile to be front and center. You can certainly do a lot more than this, but I position this from the point of, hey, I know you're busy as tourism operators. I know too that you don't want to be web designers, you don't want to be social media marketers, but you have to have some of those components as part of your package. So I think that by using these types of tactics from a minimal perspective, that you'll gain a better appreciation as to what you actually can do in moving forward. So during January, February, March, during January in particular, the first thing that I recommend you do is to look at building a stellar package. And that is a package that's going to set you apart from your competitors. You might be operating in a town that has maybe 6 or 8 other Airbnb or B&Bs or other types of tourism operators. And you might all have influence or access to very similar attributes within your community. But if you're the only one that's producing a package that helps to capitalize the use of these area assets, then that is in itself is going to help separate you from the pack. Take the Margaree River, for example. There are quite a few tourism operators along the Margaree, and their greatest asset largely outside of, touring the Cabot Trail and everything else Cape Breton has to offer, but their greatest asset along the Margaree is the fly fishing. So look at your community assets and take a look at what could really resonate with your audience and build a package that focuses specifically on that. Okay. How you would do that is use something like a Canva tool. Speak to the people in your neighborhood, speak to people who might want to partner with you to develop a package, but do develop a package. And when you have that done, you can lay it out beautifully within Canva, and we'll go over that shortly. The next tactic that you should be focused on within, I'd say, like the second, third week of January is building out this sign-up funnel. And a sign-up funnel is very super simple, easy. Essentially, we'd be looking at creating like a Facebook ad or something to draw people that would invite them to give their email address in exchange for that stellar package that we've defined that only you are offering. So this is an opportunity to do those three very simple tasks within the month of February. Within the first couple of weeks of January. So that would position you for the months of February and March to start doing some very soft awareness advertising using Facebook ads. Then as we move through within April, May, and June, we're going to kind of up our game and build more desire in our audience's purview. And by running those same Facebook ads, we can augment that by running organic social media. And that's running just a couple of posts on a weekly basis. Not a great effort. And we'll show you how to streamline that effort as well. At this point too, I would recommend that you start doing some email outreach, because really, the previous month, several months, you've been running a Facebook ad that should have been garnering email signups in exchange for that PDF. Now it's time to start talking with them. So we can engage our audience quite well by doing email outreach. And when you think about it, that prospect has trusted you by giving you their email address. Excuse me. So I would recommend that you start having that conversation with them, since they've trusted you with that vehicle in which to have those conversations. When we talk about truth, this is when we can, truth in advertising really comes from the prospect. So this is an opportunity for you to carry on with your storytelling in your social media posts and to carry on with running your Facebook ads. But also too, I think by running a contest in August to get the visitors who have engaged with that stellar package to talk about their experience, then that's going to lend so much credibility and show that the experience is of value and it's presented from an authentic perspective from your visitor's perspective. And that's going to help you, as we move into the gratitude phase, build content to then communicate back to your audience. So you can see that there are a lot of things that we can build on from timeline to timeline to timeline that helps us get to the end game, if you will. And then there's always that fifth one, and that's known as optimism. And I don't know about you, but I feel so much optimism on January 1st. I'm so excited to roll through into another year. And I think it's just a nice sentiment to send out a Happy New Year's Day greeting to people. It's non-offensive because not everybody celebrates Christmas. Some people celebrate Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and so forth for the need. And we don't want to, offend any particular group. But however, people do generally appreciate New Year's Day and look forward with enthusiasm for that. So there are lots of opportunities to build certain tools and assets along this calendar as well. Okay, so let's take a deep dive into the awareness. The awareness phase within January is when we can start to build out that stellar single product offer. I watched the webinar that Tourism Nova Scotia put out this week where they unveiled the theme of the year. Maybe it's not called that, but it's called, Take Me to the Ocean? No, Your Ocean Playground, excuse me. I've taken it a step further, and I think Take Me to the Ocean is going to resonate well. When you think about it, we all, appreciate the ocean for its beauty, its grace, its strength. But there's an essence about the ocean that very few other provinces can attest to. Like we are only, I think, at most 45 or 60 minutes from coast to coast in this province. There are lots of opportunities for you to showcase the unique characteristics that our ocean presents to us. And I think that could, if you think about it, that could be an excellent theme for you to build your stellar product offer. In January as well, you should look at building a very simple email capture form and a very simple Facebook ad. In February and March, then you're positioned because you have those tools. You already have the product offer. You have an email capture form that can, capture those emails, and you have that Facebook ad that's running an automation for you. So I think within the months of February and March, you should see some uptake in interest because of this awareness effort. The tools that we use to build these assets, very common tools, very accessible tools, and very easy tools for people to use. Canva is a fantastic design tool. Now, I would never tell that to the graphic designer that I work with on a project by project basis. We've had debates about that. But Canva is an excellent design tool for non-designers. But moreover, what it can do is help you create marketing assets or digital assets or tools that you can use in your marketing outreach, such as the PDF of that wonderful single product offer we'll show in a sec. MailerLite is my next secret tip for using it as an email communications tool. It can also, it's a free tool as well. I have many of my clients on MailerLite because of the ease of use. And you can create a very simple input form, put a link in your Facebook ad to your input form, and Bob's your uncle. Once somebody signs up, you can have MailerLite automatically send the PDF of your stellar offer to your client. So in that way, we have done a couple of things during January, February, March, thereabouts. We have raised awareness by showcasing our unique value. We have encouraged that audience to engage with us by giving us that coveted email address. As a marketer, that's a piece of gold right there. And we have raised our awareness. We have people interested now in learning more about what we can provide them. This is what the funnel, if you will, looks like during the awareness cycle. We've got the Facebook ad running, which I'll demonstrate in a moment. It goes to, once people click on that Facebook ad, it can go to your MailerLite form. I apologize, this is the MailChimp icon. There wasn't in my blueprint builder an icon for MailerLite, but nonetheless, once people complete the form, MailerLite will receive that email address and store it in its backend database for you. It'll send a thank you note that includes that PDF download. So it's a very simple funnel. This is what your object could look like. This is just a simple concept that I whipped up using Canva. And this is that single stellar product that's based on the theme of Take Me to the Ocean. We know that's largely why people come to Nova Scotia. So right away, we've aligned our product with the audience. But what's inviting about this is that this is a document that people can download to discover the secrets and of where the locals appreciate having, their time here in the province. So I think it's an opportunity when you position your product this way, it can be inviting, if you will. And again, I used Canva to whip this out as a design tool. And what I'll do at the end of the webinar, if we have time, and if not, we'll make time, we'll just take a peek-boo at how easy Canva is to use and how you can position your content in a very nice guide. Okay. So next, I popped over into MailerLite, and I built an email capture form. And again, at the end of the webinar, we'll take a look at what MailerLite looks like. It's super intuitive, really easy tool to use. There are paid plans as well, but the free plan on MailerLite meets meets all of our needs really to date. You can see that this is a beautiful little form, little intrigue there with the tail of the whale. And it's very simple. You're just asking for their email address and their name. We recommend not putting more than that on an awareness type of gathering form, because people just don't want to give you their life story in order for them to have your free piece of content. So keep it short and sweet. Get my personal guide. The next step, of course, is that it'll be sent to them through email. I kind of approach this in a backwards way, but these are the things that you want to create them in this order. You want to create your offer first, then you'll know how to position the imagery on your form, and then your Facebook ad will use very much the same language that you've used in the product offer of that PDF. So you'll see that this is the basis of the Facebook ad, if you will. You will need to be active and have an active Facebook Ads Manager account. If you're not sure how to do that, you find the Facebook environment, I'm not going to say annoying because Facebook might be listening, but if you find it to be convoluting and rather layered, you're not alone. So I think it was mentioned earlier that you can book time with any of our advisors for the Digiport channel, and we can help you set up your Facebook and have a conversation about setting up your ads manager for optimum performance for sure. But nonetheless, you will need to have an account with Facebook to run your ads. When building out your Facebook ad, you want to keep in mind there are some very key metrics that you can employ for your success, and make sure that your headline is simply that summary of what you're offering. Your image is what we saw on the previous screen, okay? So here within the Facebook ad, you'd have your headline copy is going to appear here. So think strongly on making a very riveting headline copy as well. Obviously, you'll fill in what your website name is. Here's where your text will go. And I recommend using a series of hashtags. I would say no more than 5, 6. Visit Nova Scotia is a super trending hashtag. So I would recommend that you use that as a minimum. And I think if you're going to go with the ocean theme, I would definitely recommend one of the trending hashtags I've been seeing recently, I think, was Take Me to the Ocean, or anything ocean related is going to be highly converting for you as well. Okay, so do keep in mind that creating a Facebook ad is not an intimidating process, but it is a layered and a detailed process. And there are certain things you need to have on point before Facebook will approve that ad. And don't panic if you take this approach to do your own ad. If it's up to a day or maybe even 2 days before Facebook will approve your ad. And don't be surprised if it comes back the first couple of times as being rejected for whatever reason. You really want to make sure that your language is friendly and inviting. You don't want to make false promises in your ad, and you want to make sure that you stick away from offering your solution as a housing alternative. Even though you're offering housing to tourists, you don't want to position your ad that way because you'd definitely be disqualified immediately. Nonetheless, take some time to go through looking at creating a really nice ad for your business. When you do, people are always confused about this point. When making your Facebook ad, you want to focus on the objective and the audience in particular. Those are the 2 key areas that are going to drive the success of your ad. I would recommend for this awareness type of an approach that you use a traffic as the objective. So that'll be traffic that you would supply a URL or a web address. That would be that for your form that you created. So you want to drive traffic from the ad over to that form. I would say that your audience is going to be very, very important. We spend a lot of time just doing deep dives on the right types of audience to use, because Facebook has a huge amount of information on all of its users. So it can be really interesting how we can get right down to the granular level. Maybe you want to only advertise to women between the ages of 35 and 40 who are education at university level, who live in a certain part of the country, etc. Who are only interested in scrapbooking. I don't know, something silly like that. You can get that granular with a Facebook audience targeting approach. It can be a lot of fun. I would say your timeline as well is important because it's going to correlate with your budget. So to run an awareness ad, I would say go heavy within the first cycle of the year, run the ad for 3 weeks each month. I would, however, about midway through each month, switch up the media, change the image, make it a little, a different perspective of what you're offering, but switch up the media so that you don't encourage ad fatigue. Now, I heard something the other day, ad frequency is not ad fatigue. And having your ad seen multiple times is a very good thing because that shows it's resonating with your audience. But I would make sure that to discourage ad fatigue, that you would switch up the media. And for your budget, I'd run this at $10 a day as a minimum. Now, I have some clients that run their ads at 100 a day, 75 a day, some at only 5 a day. It really depends on the broad reach that you want to have. Okay, so again, this is what the awareness stage will look like. You will have built this beautiful PDF download, you will have built a simple form, and you've connected it all through a Facebook ad. Super easy. This is the structure. Okay, I think your whole budget for the awareness phase, and I've broken down the budget for each phase going forward, so we'll have a grand total at the end of the webinar. I would run, as I said, the ad in both February and March for 3 weeks each at $10 a day. You're only looking at $420 in ad spend. That Facebook will happily charge to your credit card. Now, if you were to engage someone to create the ad, write the copy, design, everything for you, then of course this fee is going to be increased. And if you're not comfortable doing any of what I've spoken of today, it might be worth your while to do that. It might be worth your while to bring in a consultant to take care of building your awareness pieces for you, and then just set your ad in automation after that. Okay. So now we've raised our awareness within our audience. We know that there are people responding to us. They are seeing what our incredible stellar product offer is. We know that they are interested in what we're offering. So they have some interest, but how do we build that desire? There are certain things that you can do to continue to engage with your prospects on their level. And that would be primarily focused on 3 areas. I think by this time you should be positioning your business organically on social media. And when I say organic, that means you posting relevant content on your timeline for your Facebook page rather, in a non-paid format. So that's known as organic social media. The anticipation here is that people are seeing your ads from the previous month. They're also going to be looking at your timeline that's on your Facebook page. It's an opportunity for us as marketers and for yourselves as marketers to start telling your brand story. Now, you don't have to post every 20 minutes. You don't have to post that, oh, time for coffee. You don't have to post everything that your life is on social media, please. But what you should be doing is taking a very strategic approach, posting at, I would say, a minimum or even a maximum in some cases of 3 posts per week that are very structured and very much focused on a theme, and we'll disclose that. So by this time, you should be engaging with social media 3 times a week. You should also be continuing to run your Facebook ads, and again, changing up the copy. Keep the same Facebook ad. Keep the same MailerLite form. Keep all of the assets that you invested time and energy in January, February, and March to develop, but continue to repurpose them and continue to use them going forward. To do that, you still need that Facebook account. And then with respect to email, I think at this point, it would be a good idea to start talking with your audience. You have their email, your email addresses were provided to you. Start this conversation. Use MailerLite to compose a hello email to your followers. Tell them what's happening with your business. Tell them that, oh, we're starting to plant the roses. We've pruned this for the garden. Therefore, you'll have fresh herbs with your salads, etc. Whatever activities you're doing to start to prep to open up the doors for the new year, it's now time to start sharing that. And organically through social media is a wonderful way to do that. And through email outreach. So when we tell our brand story, I did mention a minimum of 3 posts per week. I think 3 posts per week is fine if you tell your brand story correctly. I think saying whatever you want to say on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is the best way to go. Those days seem to be the days that have the most uptake and engagement on social media. Before COVID, and it's sort of settling down now in terms of traffic and activity on Facebook and on social media. Before COVID, I knew on Saturday mornings between 9 and 11, I could sell female-related products for my clients, not me. I knew those ads would resonate the best during that time. Now, we are all over the map. So it's starting to settle down a bit. People are back into their normal life routines, and it seems that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are the days to experience the most engagement. So we would use those posts to build desire for what we are offering. I think some topic pillars that resonate well and work well for this industry are an about us pillar. So on one day of the week, maybe Wednesday, you could talk about you. Then you can talk about the area. This is where we can showcase the value that our local area offers, or that your local area offers, that could be so very different from the concrete cities in which some of our prospects might be living. That's a way to build desire when you showcase the simple little things in your neighborhood that we take for granted, but that people from away covet dearly. Then you can talk about your inn, or I'm saying an inn, it could be whatever your tourism operation is. This is where you can do a little bit of selling here. I think in terms of what you could use for a social media calendar, it varies. I mean, a simple spreadsheet will do, where you can list out the day of the week, your content pillar, and your message. That's a nice way to keep your content organized. I use a tool called Cloud Campaign. If we have an opportunity at the end of the webinar, I'd be happy to demonstrate that. If you wanted to have a private demonstration, by all means, I'd be happy to do that as well. I use Cloud Campaign because it's an extremely powerful social media tool that gives me metrics and measurements of my activity across the channels far better than what social media, Facebook does, actually. Yes, there are products that do social media better than Facebook. In order to raise your brand awareness, we've got the ads running, of course, but when we approach telling our brand story through organic social media, you really want to make sure you focus on who you are. Speak in your own voice. Don't speak from a salesy perspective. Don't write or speak as if you're, demonstrating a product on The Price is Right. I mean, I heard that on the other day. It was so salesy and so gimmicky. Don't speak like that when you want to convey your brand story. And I would use things like Canva to create your branded posts. It does a beautiful job. And again, I use cloudcampaign.io is the link as my scheduler, and we can. They're easy tools to begin using for the power of what they offer, really. Okay. Within the desire stage, you still want to maintain those Facebook ads. Again, maintain the objective as traffic. Make sure that the audience remains targeted. And your ad copy should be the same, but I would switch up the media again. I would run, this is a solid strategy that has worked for others, so take notes. Run it for 2 weeks each month and keep it at your $10 a day ad spend, and you should get some traction and some engagement there. All right. In terms of the email outreach during the desire stage, remember the previous cycle, we had people provide their email address to us. So now it's time to start having that conversation to keep your business top of mind. Send out a monthly email newsletter. Doesn't have to be salesy, as we discussed. It can be about topics that are very light. It can be about the weather. Oh, the weather resonates with people. When you have a snowstorm, people want to know about it. When you have a hurricane, people want to know about it. They want to know how you've been impacted. Weather impacts our experience with the ocean. So, put that into your marketing copy. I have a client up on, where are they? Around Burnt Coat. They put like all across, the western part of Nova Scotia, wherever we look onto the western waters, we have the most amazing sunsets, whether it's over Shuttabuckdo Bay, or I think Shuttabuckdo Bay, definitely over St. Mary's Bay, the Bay of Fundy. Wow, we have sunsets here that are unreal. That can be a perfect lead into your email communication to showcase some of the beauty of the area. Okay. Use MailerLite and a campaign builder. You can send follow-up emails to all those people that have already subscribed to your list. And then you can add these to an autoresponder, which means you write the email once, attach it to your list, put it in an autoresponder so that it will go out automatically for you. Okay. Super, super easy way to do engagement to a mass audience of people who are already interested in what you have to offer. Always include a call to action. So a call to action is something that is like book now or learn more, and then you could attach a link to your website as that call to action loop. I would say in terms of a budget for this phase of your outreach, between April, May, and June, you will, I would say, run the ad for 2 weeks a month. So you're looking at 6 weeks of ad at $10 a day, and you're only spending $4.20. But that's not bad to keep your brand top of mind. Here's the fun part, the truth part. During July, August, and September is your time to be authentic and to allow your audience to be authentic as well. Doesn't that look good? I'm just so craving a lobster right now. During this time of year, during July, August, and into September, I know it's your busy time. I know that. I know that you have to be attentive to all of the activities that are running within your operation. But it's still an opportunity for you to take and schedule some time, carve out some time during your day to keep up the organic storytelling. It's only 3 posts a week. You can do it. You can do it with the tools that we've talked about today. You can do it for less than an hour a week, less than maybe 30 minutes a week when you get to be really good at it. I suggest that you continue during the truth stage also running your Facebook ads, but I'd reduce them down to about 1 week a month. Switch the media out on a monthly basis. So you're looking at 3 different images, 3 ads are running on the same ad throughout the whole summer. That is not a big effort when you think about, what's involved to produce that. Keep up the monthly email newsletter. That again, keep talking about the weather, the local events. Oh, speaking of local events, if there are international events happening in your area, absolutely send that out in your newsletter, but I would not include international events as part of your ad copy. I would not align my business with any organization that is only a one-off type of event, even though I guess we're having like the Junos. Did I hear that the Junos are coming to Nova Scotia next year? Fantastic. mention that in your newsletter, and that could be a way to draw people to stay at your tourism operation. So keep it light, if you will, but do engage with that email once a month. And then I strongly recommend using a reviews contest. This is where we talk about the authenticity in advertising. This is where we can talk about and use the authentic approach to advertising for your benefit. If we had, my recommendation is that we run like a stellar package reviews contest. So people have engaged with you in the beginning. They wanted to learn about your superb one-off package that only you can offer. Well, now it's time for them to tell you how they feel about that one-off package. And I think if you had your guests take maybe a vacation selfie at a secret location, a part of which would be part of what would be listed in your PDF guide. And if they could post that to your Facebook page, so you would have one post that would go out that month, encouraging your local audience, people who have experienced your service, to write their testimonial right on your Facebook page in that post stream. Okay. Encourage them to use like a very specific caption, like loving this amazing private seaside cove, perfect hideaway to reconnect with the ocean, and a series of hashtags. So if you could get your audience to give you feedback in this format, then you have tremendous value here. The value is that social proof is gold, absolute gold. And when you have somebody on social media writing something, putting their profile out there saying, I testify to this, that this is an awesome product, then people who are like them, who are their followers, people who are friends of theirs, people who are at their level are going to say, ooh, that looks really interesting. If they liked it, I would possibly like it too. But you've got that attention as a result. So social proof can be a tremendous golden nugget. There's no doubt. What you can also do with this post stream is that you can repurpose it later. You can talk about it in your future campaigns. You can talk about it in email the following month as part of the gratitude theme. And you can really push that later in your social media posts when you say, look, we had such a fabulous year. Look what people have had to say about our product. Okay. I think that the prize, you have to give people an incentive, of course, for participating in this reuse contest. Why don't you just give them like a weekend for two for next year? Lo and behold, you'll have them coming back. Okay. The budget on ad spend for the Truth Cycle, if you're running an ad during July, August, and September at about 1 week each, you're only looking at 3 weeks of ads running at about $10 a day. You're looking at $210. So that's a nice way to keep your brand active and out there. The gratitude phase. This is where during gratitude, we can express our appreciation for all of the effort. I think the action items during the gratitude phase should be continuing with the organic social. I think there's an opportunity to repost all of those contest reviews and to send out a gratitude email to your list. And this can be just, thank you so much for helping us, grow this year. We appreciated having you with us, etc. The tech tools that you would use going forward are still the social media calendar and using MailerLite and Canva too. Okay, the total ad spend during this phase would be about, for the entire year, you're only looking at around $1,000 in ad spend. During the winter phase and the spring phase of $420, and then in the summertime, you're only looking at about $1,050 for your total ad budget spend. I'm looking at the clock, I'm doing fine. So really, this is quite doable, I mentioned in the optimism stage, this is an opportunity for us to say, hello, new year, hello to a new year. Send out an optimistic New Year's Day greeting to your list on email and post it on social. Email this out to your subscribers and talk about the good things that are to come. This does indeed help your audience stay top of mind with you for sure. And here's a tip. All of the email subscribers that you received through mail or like during the previous year, upload those to your Facebook audience manager to create a new lookalike audience. So then when you start engaging with new Facebook ads in 2024, you can send to an audience that looks like the people who have already subscribed with you. It's a brilliant feature that Facebook has. Okay. So again, when you're ready in January of 2024, just pull out the sheet, and this is your tactical guide for the coming year. Okay. As you move forward, just keep this simple formula in mind. Digital marketing doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be intimidating. I know because technology is associated with it. Some people get so nervous and really don't want to have anything to do with touching Facebook. Move past that, because there are some super easy tools that you can use. And if you just need a little bit of encouragement or coaching, by all means, reach out to any of the consultants through the Digiport channel. I'm listed as one, but there's tons of incredible talent in the province standing by, ready to help you. Again, just move forward with that simple formula of offering tremendous value in a PDF. People want to see how you're different. So that's how you can convey that message. Build that email list, build it out throughout the year, and then do your outreach with Facebook ads and tell your brand story using organic social media. And then engage with email. It's super, super simple. Okay. I have done this in 1 hour. Are there any questions at this point? Shall I stop the share? I shall stop the share.
Do not stop the share.
Oh, do not stop share. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Somebody's listening to me. That's awesome.
I am here. We're all listening. Yeah. So a lot of the questions that we've seen so far kind of were answered throughout the presentation. So that's great. So a question. So again, if anyone on the call has a question, please put it in now. Is uploading our email list to Facebook a privacy concern, especially if we have promised not to share their information?
Yeah, no, it isn't, because that's an ethical dilemma, but I won't speak from a legal perspective, but it's hidden. Those email addresses are hidden. Nobody sees it per se, but it's kind of encrypted and hidden behind layers of code within the Facebook algorithms, and they send it to people who are like them. So no, what Facebook will do with that email address is that it does a compare between all the attributes of that profile user that has that email address, and they find people that are similar in profile, who have similar likes, similar attributes that are, Facebook amasses a huge amount of information on each of its users, and it does so for the purpose of retargeting and marketing. So by uploading that email address of that prospect that you have, you're not violating their profile. You're not violating their essence or their position in any way. You're just giving a sample database, a sample list to Facebook that it adds to its database to do a comparison, and then it retargets advertising to people who have profiles that are similar to those that you uploaded. So yeah, I know it's almost like an ethical dilemma there, but we overlook that because it's fairly safe. That's a tough one to answer.
Yeah, that's privacy is always top of mind. So is there any other questions here that we would have for Shelley? Again, a lot of positive feedback, great presentation. Very informative. A lot of people asking if it's available after the fact. That's positive. What role, rank, is print media playing in this marketing campaign life cycle? Question mark.
I'm sorry, what was the question, Dick?
Question is, what role or rank is print media playing in this marketing campaign life cycle?
Print media. Wow. Oh, I'm a digital marketer, so I tend to not look at a lot of print. However, I know that in some circles, print still has its value. Print is not it's not a sustainable marketing tool when you want to reach people all over the world. When I have clients that target just certain parts of Europe, as an example, and that's where privacy gets to be a whole other ball of wax. But we could never use digital or print rather to reach the audience in Germany. So digital has to be the way to go. If you want to engage with print to do like brochures or newspaper ads, I don't think you can even get a print newspaper anymore, then you're really limiting your market, aren't you? You're tying up your messaging, which could be fluid, into what you have printed. So you better make sure that everything you say is on point and that your phone number doesn't change and your email address doesn't change once you spend, sometimes thousands on print. It's difficult to measure print. And I think that's the biggest problem that I have with it. With social media advertising, whether you do it organically or through paid ads, you have metrics in place that count every interaction with your ad. With a print ad, they might broadcast local distribution to 10,000 homes, but how many of those 10,000 publications that went out that month were actually read and appreciated by the audience? We have no way to measure the print impact, whereas with digital we do. So I tend to stay away from print. But I still have my business cards. I mean, I still hand that out to people. I still have the old-fashioned business card that I really like because it has my logo on it and all that jazz. And so that appeals to me from an ego perspective. Do I invest in print? I do not personally. So I hope that answers the question without... You want to, and you know what? If your audience is receptive to print, then maybe that's the way to go. But I can't see from a tourism marketing perspective, when we want to encourage visitors from outside the province to come and visit us and enjoy what we have, I can't see how print can be an effective medium there.
Okay, so how do you navigate the strict rules of Facebook terms of service with giveaways, contests? Do you encourage those on IG instead, which has less strict regulations?
Yeah, you need to be respectful of Facebook's rules with respect to running contests. If you go to facebook.com and look through their business management section, I think it's facebook.com/business or something, you can research the up-to-date rules on running a contest on social media. And the type of contest, however, that I'm encouraging with the truth authenticity theme is a safe approach to doing a contest on Facebook. Now, I've also had some horror stories with respect to running contests on Facebook that have been hacked. And I use the term hacked loosely. We think it was just personal sabotage against one particular vendor. And and it was a highly engaging contest. It was getting like dozens upon dozens of comments in the profile, in the post timeline, responding to this contest. We were getting, exceptional feedback. And for every message that was posted on the timeline for this Facebook post, somebody was in there saying, "You won, you won, you won." So it made it very difficult for us to continue with that contest. But that was a deliberate effort. just follow Facebook's rules and hope that you don't have, bad people that are going to try to ruin your thing, and it'll go fine. Just follow Facebook's rules. And again, if you need help with running a contest, give us a call and we can walk you through some of that as well. But a contest that encourages the Facebook algorithm, I know, will respond quite well to any series of posts. If you have a post that has a high engagement rate, then Facebook will elevate that in its algorithm and show it to more people. So contests can be a very good thing.
Perfect. So this webinar has been excellent. Shelley, thank you so much. I don't see any questions, but if anything else pops up after the fact, it kind of goes back to what I had said earlier, and that is book Shelley with a one-on-one. There's follow-up opportunities. Shelley, thank you so much for the excellent presentation. There's a lot of people that said there's very valuable information that was actionable, so thank you. And I'm going to take back over the screen now.
Okay. Do you want to click stop share? No?
Nope. I'll take back over.
Do nothing. That's
Wonderful.
So odd for me. That's really odd.
I know. Thank you, Shelley. Have a great day.
Ta-ta for now. Goodbye, everybody.
So again, that webinar was excellent. All of our webinars are excellent, and the previous recordings are there. This webinar and PowerPoint will be up tomorrow. You'll receive an email. The next webinar we're going to have is Thursday, April 13th, and it's how to crack the profitable Facebook ads code. So that'll be an excellent webinar. It's presented by Sarah Mills with Dashboard Living. And Sarah has extensive experience with this, so really excited for that webinar. So join us on April 13th at 10. If you have any ideas for future webinars, send us an email, tnsbusiness@novascotia.ca. You can find any of our corporate information at tourismns.ca. Our consumer website, so our call to action where we send people, is novascotia.com. News and resources. So this is the area where we share all of our news programs, anything that's relevant that industry needs to know, we'll share it there. And that's tourismns.ca/news-resources. You can find us at Twitter, tourismns, and on LinkedIn at Tourism Nova Scotia. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us.